Hey everyone, it's Coeval again. I've got another tournament match for you guys. This is round 3 of the Division 1 60 Nexus tournament. And this has the Spork and Harpocrates going up against each other. And it looks like Spork is running some aids, and Harp has a generic book. Not going to share quite yet what he has, but you'll see as the game goes on. So, this is a super interesting game. Goes down to the wire. And yeah, I can talk a little bit about how to fight against aids when you have a generic book, which, if you guys haven't figured out, it's full C's. And so he does the border jump to get the entangle off. The reason why this is so powerful is because he's prodded, so you can't just summon a swarm and get the entangle off. You might be thinking, okay, he could have maybe flashed there, or shock bombed, but shock bomb's not available quite yet, so he couldn't do that to knock him. And so he just goes for the storm shield. Flash is kind of like, is it really worth it? Because he's just going to teleport down the next turn anyway. So he just stays up for one turn, right? And then he's going to teleport down and prep the trolls, prep the Waterlord. And as you can see, with a generic book, it's difficult to deal with. You just kind of have to wait it out. So, what's Spork's plan here? Hydrate the trolls, get the Waterlord out, use Fury, and basically apply some pressure with Deluge, with English Summer. Use the trolls to ladder to hit the swarms and block like little holes that that Spork or that Harp might make with pebbles, so that he can't approach. And you can see he's already got 200 trolls on turn 5 due to some fortunate tangle, due to a fortunate tangle, and also just the friendly map gen for Spork here. So yeah, I mean, Harp's not gonna figure out this magic recipe to win in the next 10 turns. He's got to grind it out. So we'll see what happens here. I'll zoom out a little bit because this map is pretty huge, and we'll go over to the swarm. But yeah, the way you play against full Cs, if you're running generic, pretty much you have to stack your prots, stay out of deluge range, get 2 swarms out, and tick the Waterlord, tick the trolls every turn. 15 a turn is a lot over the course of 40 turns-ish, which is the kind of max amount of turns that Nexus seems to go, typically. Just because by turn 30, 35, the map is completely gone. So, yeah, Spork does help kill the trolls a little bit, which will be important for Harp, but also he's getting a lot of health too, so it's an even trade, I think. And he also has 2 hydrates, so he could get trolls out again and hydrate them to 2 more to 200, which is just wild. So he positions the spirit a little bit interesting there. Doesn't really go for the to put it in front of the Garg. Probably because, I don't know, I think Deluge, the drops will deflect for 3 seconds and then the rest of them will fall on the spirit. It often can just kill the spirit outright, so he wants to keep his spirit alive, use the Garg as a shield for Deluge, maybe bait the Deluge out of Spork there. And he's just going to, as I said, wait for his second swarm to come off cooldown, spam windshield, stay in that corner forever, which is actually, you know, I don't know, with windshield he's not too vulnerable to Fury, right? Oh, excuse me. So, he's gonna just chill there and take the swarms down. And Spork decides to tower here, and I guess he's preventing Harp from taking down the trolls with the swarm, which is a smart play. Instead he has to take the tower down, which is fine. I mean, Harp's just going to get that free damage off every single turn. Which is kind of funny. If you like add up the total damage that each one of these guys is doing, Harp is going to be way ahead just simply because he's got the like passive tick damage. And right about now he probably should have a swarm available. But you can see he's just trying to get rid of all the bottom of the map. Use dive, use maelstrom. The sooner the map is gone, the more difficult it will be to get for Harp to win, and the sooner the Lord is out, right? So he's just going to take every turn, keep the swarm out of a ladder range. You can do a lot with the ladder with these trolls because they're fat and huge. You can stack 2 of them, then you can put yourself on top. It's just like a lot. You can get a lot further than you would have probably thought if you haven't played with full Cs or anything like that. It can be kind of tricky to anticipate, like, oh dang, he can get all the way up there with those trolls. You can see him laddering it right now. Pretty effective, yeah. And the jump is pretty nice on the trolls. Like, I think it's even a little bit larger than it is when they're small. At least it kind of looks that way. I'm not sure. No, yeah, there's no way. It's much larger. Or maybe the hitbox is just larger. But it seems like the jump is larger too, because there's no way a small troll would make it all the way up to that top. So, I don't know, maybe they're jumping from like the middle. Like the jump starts at the middle of their body, which is much higher than a tiny troll, which would be like down here. So if the jump starts up here, they can get up higher, right? But if it starts down here, they could get only maybe to like here. So I don't know, maybe there's some science to that. Pure would have to confirm how the jumping mechanics and the hitbox works. But anyway, guys, we've got some movement of swarms. I'll skip some of this just so you guys can, stay interested in the outcome of the game here, because it is a really interesting game. It's just, yeah, a bit stally. So he just prots here, again diving to remove some of the land. One of the swarms gets bonked in the face, kind of unfortunate. Harp's going to move the swarm around again, tick him, and prot shields. So here Spork could summon Waterlord at pretty much any point. It's kind of interesting when he chooses to summon, right? Because the sooner he summons, the sooner Harp can get the damage off. And the later he summons, the later he can, he won't be able to damage the Lord if it's not out. So interesting play here. Spork does take advantage of the ladder, and he comes all the way up to entangle Harp, which is an interesting play. He's got a lot of health, he can't be sunk because he's full Cs, so I think this is a pretty solid move. The guard can't get to him, the swarm can, but not really. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, tired today, guys. Not really that much damage, so a pretty solid move by Spork. And yeah, he's just blocking the entrance to the swarm to the right side, or from the right side to the middle here. And you have to take the trolls carefully because the hitbox on that melee that they have, you can get the swarm like right here and it'll get bonked. So you have to position it pretty far, probably around where that ping was. The swarm gets ticked again, and Harp just decides to bring the DK out here. Not a bad play because he's probably not going to get to use it that often. Otherwise, when the map is gone, the DK is not going to be valuable, right? So he decides to pull it out, and yeah, it's true, he can't really move it that much, but he's just trying to get tempo on Spork, force him to respond, to run away, do something. And now he's at the top of the map, which is kind of favorable to Harp. Like, maybe Harp has pebbles, and he could pebble him, but then you think about it a little bit more, and you go, well, Harp's entangled, so he can't really move. So what's the point of that? So he's going to go over and try and tick him with the swarm again. He would like to tick himself because he's tangled, but he can't, so he's going to relocate the swarm, I think, and try to do this ladder, which probably won't work, but we'll see if he can make some progress. Okay, he does. He does make some progress, but how much? He's running out of time, so he just has to drain. Again, a fine play. Spork is detached from his water, right? So he decides to kill the spirit, a fine move. Harp is getting untangled in the meantime. And that Garg is not doing too much, but it could be valuable when the map is gone, right? Free 70 damage, pretty easy D-tower. So here again, Harp is just playing for chip damage. He doesn't really need to hit Spork necessarily, just chip the trolls down. Problem is though, C's, I mean, come on. Like, you have 4 hydrations, so you can hydrate 2 trolls to start. They both go to 200, that's 400 damage you have to take down. Okay? Then, let's say you finally get both of those trolls down, he's able to get 2 more out and hydrate them both for 200 more. So that's 800 health of trolls that you gotta whittle through. You can have a max of 2 swarms out, that's 30 damage a turn. Man, I don't even know what that math is. Maybe I could do it real quick, but yeah, so 800 health, 30 damage a turn, which would take, yeah, 27 turns to get that done. That's crazy. So it's not happening anytime soon. Especially because that's saying that every single turn you have 2 swarms out, which is not true. Some of the game you have 1 swarm out. Some of the game you can only tick the troll with 1 swarm because of time. Some of the game you might be able to tick 2, and then you might be able to tick 1 troll and the other troll. I don't know. It's just like really hard to do that math, because that's assuming like the best possible conditions, which is just not ideal in a game like this, because you have a finite amount of time. So Spork decides to telly down. He wants to reconnect with the water, which is a great play. No point in him staying up there when he loses a lot of his advantage due to the fact that Seas thrives when you're on the water, because your opponent can't really get to. He's back to 250, and Harp has to move the swarm back around. I will skip this part, and we will move on. So, looks like after he ticked, he moved his swarm to the right there. Spork brings out more trolls. Okay, the swarm dies. Not sure what he did last turn exactly, if he queued or not, but seems like he might have protection shield again because he's back at 59. So after he ticked the swarm, he prodded. He's going to tick himself. Actually, it wouldn't make too much sense to prod because he wants to remove the entangle, but maybe he's still saying, you know, like, does removing the entangle really do that much for me? Like, I don't know. Because he can't really, like, gain tempo on Spork. He's got 250 health, 4 trolls out. Like, what kind of tempo is he going to gain? And you see the value of that ladder. You see how high they get to jump, especially when they're laddered up on there. So you have a troll down here on the ground. It can go all the way up here. Like, that's the jump, essentially, that you have to picture because of the ladder. Which is just like, how is that even possible? It's not something that you might anticipate if you're not used to full Cs. Okay, so he hydrates. Notice it doesn't heal the trolls back to 200, which would be just busted. Okay, maybe Harp did proc because he elects to just say, yeah, the tangle's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to continue to tick him with damage. Any damage I can get out is going to be good. So he's got a spirit or a swarm. Swarm is probably on cooldown, so he decides to spirit there. He does get bonked too, which might be a reason why he prodded. He said, well, the entangle's going to remove, you know, my prots anyway, and the entangle as well. So it'll remove all shields. So that does, you know, help him out a little bit. But Harp's going to get, or Spork's going to get 2 more trolls at 200, right? But before that, maybe he wants to do a different move. Does he want a Fury? Yeah, he does. We'll zoom out so you guys can see the carnage. Does it hit the swarm? Yeah, that 1 drop hits the swarm. His spirit's dead. Yeah, so this is where it becomes tricky. He has to avoid the glyphs. Oh, and he hits one. And, you know, it might have been possible to ladder the DK down here. So he flights, he comes down here, dumps the DK on him, comes down, puts the DK there, comes down here, jumps to maybe this spot, but he has to avoid the hit, the passive, from the trolls. So it's kind of tricky. It would be tricky to execute in 60s. The fact that he has to somehow avoid the troll passive, he can't absorb a troll passive because he doesn't have a prod up. Yeah, it's gonna be super, super busted. One thing too about Hydrate that's pretty busted is that I'm pretty sure I've seen this before. So even if the troll, like the mid-level troll, the 100 troll is down to 35, you can Hydrate that. It goes back to 200, which is just, I mean, That's so much health. I feel like it shouldn't quite gain that much, because, yeah, it's just a ton. Like, I mean, what are you supposed to even do against that? How many more swarm ticks is that, you know? It's like a giant amount. So much more health you gotta deal with. So he's gonna go for the charge. And interestingly, the DK just drops. It just like goes straight through the Lord, right? So I'm thinking, you know, maybe he aimed it here. Maybe you gotta aim it like, I don't know. I think it's just gonna drop. Like, that's kind of a weird interaction because most of the time the DK gets stuck inside like a minion, right? And it acts like, you know, like the Waterlord acted kind of transparent. Like the minion is a solid object most of the time, and the DK gets stuck inside. Like I would expect the DK to just get stuck like in the Lord's eyeball, but instead it just falls straight through into the ground. I'm not sure exactly what that interaction, why that interaction happens, but I feel like it should stay instead of just falling. Like that was kind of weird. But yeah, any insight on that, if you guys have it, would be kind of interesting to know. But you can see the map is gone, the Lord is out. It's super difficult for Harp to deal with this, but he's going to try. Flight and prot when he can. He's got his flight down, so he has to maybe tower or get a Pegasus out to prevent Deluge from doing that much damage. And yeah, but it's starting to get spicy. Like, you know, the game is far from over. 22 turns. You might think this is a foregone conclusion. Spork's got so much health, he's got all his trolls out, but it's kind of tricky. It's still tricky to win. And of course, meteors can do anything. Alright, if you guys have made it this far in the video, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. And I'm bringing you some pretty spicy tourney games. I've been enjoying these commentaries lately. And 60 Nexus has been a pretty fun tournament for content. Kind of a bit of a troll set due to the power of the Arma and the prevalence of full books like Frost, Seize, Minion, and those are the three main ones that are pretty overpowered. But yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for the support, and I'd appreciate it if you drop a like and comment and a sub if you haven't already. So here, what's the plan? Take the swarm, tick the giant, maybe bring out another swarm. I will once again fast forward this just so you guys don't have to watch the movement, because I don't have too much else to kind of talk about this game and kind of the strategy. I've already went over that, but he's going to bring a Garg out, and it's nice to have that 70 passive, not 70 passive, but 70 damage as a threat from the Lust to kill one of the trolls, wheel down the Lord, maybe kill the bigger troll. He does deluge it though, off summon, so he's not going to have that opportunity. And let's see, if I were Harp here, do I have flight back? Probably not quite yet. Does it matter exactly what you swarm? No, but I would probably swarm the Lord because it's the biggest health target. So here he doesn't have much to do. He's not threatened by a deluge. Oh, okay, that one came after his turn, so he's still okay, but he just got nailed by a meteor. It was like a homing missile, and now he's in some trouble. Oh yeah, he has another hydrate, and he just stacks the trolls, hits him down to 34 health after a meteor. God, and this is why this set is so frustrating for a lot of players, because that meteor is so powerful, and it cleanses shields. So, I mean, what are you possibly going to do against that? It's crazy. So he has to Ice Shield to prevent from Entangle. Good play, and also it helps against Deluge too. It'll just bounce off. The water droplets will. And maybe if he has Prod up, he'll do that. If he doesn't, he might shield here. Yeah, he has Prod, thankfully. So now it's just a matter of, okay, are meteors going to help Harp? Are they going to help Spork? And can he keep his flight up? which with Ice Shield and Pegasus and Tree, he should have enough protection against aerials. So we'll see how this goes. If I'm Spork, I'm thinking maybe you just Water Ball heal here? Heal. Water Ball heal? Yeah, he's just gonna go straight under him and just aim directly up. It'll do like 20 damage, but actually this could deflight. It's possible, but it doesn't quite do it. So if you like, oh, whoa, dude, he's being targeted, man. He's being targeted like DX every day is being attacked in the Discord. Wow, this is just so, God. So he prots, he gets hit by a meteor, he runs away, he ice shields, he pegs, he spirits, he does everything he needs to do, the best he possibly can, and then he prots, and then Spork water balls him, and the meteor followed him. The meteor said, "Oh no, I got you, fam," and just boom, nailed him. That's just insane. So now the only move he has is, I don't know, I guess shield, and he has to do it from under. He knows Deluge is still on cooldown. Maybe he can prod on his Pegasus, just spam that. I guess Spork can't really get to him that easily. You know, there is that. So I don't know exactly. I mean, Harp is praying, and Spork just has no moves, right? I don't know why he moved. Is he scared of Meteor? He wants to go back to the middle of the map. But at this point, it's just kind of random. It's completely random kind of where it goes. Yeah, the meteors tend to be in the middle of the map more, but they also go on the sides, as you saw just 2 turns ago, and it's turn 27. So we're in the mid game, and meteors just go pretty much wherever the hell they want. So I don't know why he didn't. I guess he would have had to lob it because of the windshield, but he could have gone a bit closer to try to lob. I feel like that would have been an easier lob if he was like here, right? And there it is again, the homing meteor. That's just insane. And he just got lucky, right? Because, well, the shield was up. Well, not lucky. I mean, he had that as the only option, but, you know, if he didn't have the shield up, he's pretty much just lost there. So, okay, he goes for the water ball, and it's funny that, look at all those droplets. That's a ton of droplets. The droplet might have killed him. And look at that again! Another meteor! And the spirit was just like, nope. My God. That is just so crazy. He is just being targeted. It's insane. This is unacceptable. Justice for targeted individuals. Anyway, guys, this is looking pretty spicy. You might have been a little bit bored in the mid game, but now it's like, okay, anyone could win at any point. He's only got 27 health. He's just got to stack his prots and pray. Okay, Meteor's starting to help him out a little bit. The troll is being whittled down. Okay, Spork jumps down there, makes a slight misplay. Okay, this is what I was talking about, the deluge droplets. A few of them will, for 3 seconds, the windshield lasts that long. The droplets will be deflected, and then they will drop down onto the spirit and whatever else is down there. As you can see, too, we've got a nice smattering of individuals over here. 7. Quival, Cryo, Goal, Ice Tray, Zartak, Aldamele, and Beverly on the boat. He's just gonna spam the prots. He's got nothing else. Spork used Deluge, so now he's a bit safe. A bit, you know, not really safe, but a bit. Maybe the swarm could have been positioned a little bit better in the case of a ladder working, but it doesn't quite work, so that's fine. He can just continue to tick. You can see that, oh, actually it does work. That's a nice play by Spork then here. He can kill that swarm. Possibly. Yeah, no, he's gonna... This is what I mean about the ladder. You may think, oh, there's no way that the trolls can reach from that far. And then he pulls out this shit, and you're like, oh, let me just put the Water Lord on top of the first troll, on top of the second troll, on top of the third troll, on top of the fourth troll, on top of me. And then, yeah, I can. And boom! Just nails him. Right off of the troll, crushes him, and sinks. Which is funny because, like, if it goes anywhere inside the map, he's fine. But instead it sinks him, and now, even though Harp is tangled, it's actually his Pegasus, so he's fine. He can just hide and prot, hug the Lord, hug the Lord. Give Jesus a hug, hug the Lord. If you've made it so far in this video, give Jesus a hug for me. He can hug the Lord in prot, and I mean Spork's hugging the Lord right now because he needs to say a prayer, and he is honestly that's his only move is to just teleport in on that Lord, because anywhere else on the map here, anywhere here, 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 all sinkable. On a troll is sinkable, on a troll is sinkable, on his swarm, sinkable, on his Pegasus, sinkable. So now he's got this undead, which is massive. What can Spork do? He has to kill that somehow, because now it'll do 30 passive damage for Harp, which is massive, which I've said massive a lot. This is just massive. Massive comeback, massive plays, massive Arma luck. Although not as massive as my Arma luck against Tiger, which you guys should take a look at that video if you haven't seen it. It was a crazy game. I also have my game against Cryo too, and here I'll put cards up on the right in the video so you guys can see. May not be at this exact time, but you guys see the cards, you know what I'm talking about. So once again, 30 passive damage, he actually BFTPs. Why does he do that? He can zombie another troll, and then Spork has to deal with it. 15 plus 15 is 30. Thank you for attending Professor Coeval's class. He's going to have to deal with this troll, and once he deals with the troll, is he in a flashable spot? Potentially? And you can see it damaged the Lord. Why did it damage the Lord? Because the 30 passive. Once it turned into Harp's minion, he gained the passive ability. So now the issue is for Spork that Harp is not tangled, the peg was tangled, and he has 30 passive damage plus a Storm Shield, which is 55, that he can do to the Lord every turn, come back up to this Pegasus, stack another prot on the Pegasus. Actually, no, it's going to cap at 115. I was like slithering there. It's going to cap. Yeah. So it's going to cap at 115, so no really point in protection shielding there, but if he has it up, he could do it again. If he doesn't, I don't know, maybe stay on that peg, get a Garg out, but he decides to go for the flash, and actually just might win him the game outright. That's the obvious play here. He says, okay, now's the time to go on the offensive. If a meteor gets me, so what? It's Nexus. That's how it goes. And it's pretty unlikely, but as you can see from my past videos, it does happen. The only play for Spork to do is to teleport on the Lord. He's getting an extra 15 plus 25 plus 30 damage on the Lord every turn due to the shield, plus the flash damage, plus the swarm. But although that one died, so it's now 15 plus 25, so 40 plus 15, 55 damage. And now the Lord is dead, and he just flashes him off, flashes him off, flashes him off. Spork says, you know what, I'm just going to have to queue and see, hopefully Harp gets hit by a meteor. But what Harp can do too is just go to the top of the map, because the way meteor works is the most devastating aspect of a meteor, see, I don't quite agree with this move, because the meteor could go down here and then explode and deflight him and do a bunch of damage and then sink him. So he dodged a bullet there. He should have just gone to the top of the map, because Spork's not zoned in, he can't deluge. So what I was just going to explain is you go to the top of the map and the meteor will just pass right through you. I don't know if you've seen that animation, but it just goes straight through you. It does like 20 damage. The real devastating part of the Arma is when it explodes in that whole fiery flash glyph Armageddon type of thing. The cleanse effect triggers, it does like 70 or 80. It has knockback, as you saw it bounce Spork all the way into the water. So yeah, I think Harp should have gone up to the top to be a bit safer from the Arma. But nonetheless, he's able to clinch that win. Drains the pegs to get back up to 112 just to be safe. Somehow he got the victory there. No idea how that was able to, end up working in his favor. Well, of course I do know, because the Arma just fucked Spork over massively, but that'll happen in Nexus, and it's also just nice for Harp to get a win against a completely AIDS book. That full book, pattern of taking full books on this map is pretty sad to see, because those full books are super oppressive, and I don't know, take a little bit. I mean, yeah, it takes skill to use, but it's kind of like you can just hide and be super passive, and your opponent has to stall way far out to the very end game, and then has to get lucky too. Like, you know, Seize is, you're going to struggle against Seize. The only option really is to chip with the Swarm. And of course, if you don't bring Swarm, you're just lost. But anyway, super interesting game, long grind, and Harp actually wins the series now against Spork 2-1. This was round 3, so they go to a playoff bracket before determining the winner of the Division 1 tournament. So I'll continue some coverage of this as new fun tournament games come about. And hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace out.